All right, welcome back. I'm Rosemary Howell. I'm here with the Holter Museum of Art. We are continuing our Quarantine and Create mini-series. So we're here with Seth Roby. He is an associate professor at Helena College. How you doing, Seth?
I'm doing great today. How are you?
Doing good. So if you could just talk to us a little bit about your studio practice, what it looks like before and after the quarantine, what you're doing now, and how you're doing.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm doing well. I mean, I think like everyone, we're figuring this thing out, especially in our own personal lives, how we adjust to that. The studio practice itself has been kind of interesting, more or less because even though you usually as an artist create, or at least I create primarily in my own studio by myself, there's still sort of this I don't know, this lingering thing in the back of your mind now of like you can't have anybody in, and you're not supposed to be. I don't know, sort of like showing and telling at the same degree. I used to, people would pop in throughout the day, and there's studios that are near mine, and so people be able to sort of have some camaraderie. But with that gone, there's still sort of like this air about it. Um, it is surprisingly enough, being a full-time faculty member and a studio artist, I've found a little bit more time to actually get to the studio, which has been nice. So there's, I guess, some positives to this. But I've always found that teaching and my studio practice pretty much have to go almost 50-50 in that what I do in the studio, I'm always thinking about how I can bring that into the classroom, and then vice versa, what I'm learning from my students in the classroom, or maybe they're working on something that sort of continues and inspires me to then continue in my studio practice. So it's been pretty hard to have one without the other, and even though I'm still teaching online, an online studio course, sometimes, as you can imagine, there's some gaps, and so I found sometimes my studio process also slowing down a little bit, just because I'm sort of used to that interaction with my students.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but
So, how are online classes? How are you navigating the teaching art through video, or is it through video?
yeah, it is. It's I think if I had designed courses to be specifically online, it'd be a different situation. Being sort of the at the last minute, we everybody across the nation kind of got the notice. They dropped what they were doing. We actually had spring break right after we received the notice, so I had that entire week to build the 5 courses that I was teaching and make them specifically online. So it was a little bit of a challenge, and in this situation, I think it's a little bit harder than any other online. But I have created several platforms. I use like Microsoft Teams, a little bit of Zoom. We have a Moodle shell for the school. So there's just a lot of stuff out there, and even like, let's say, figure drawing online. Well, they have a lot of online figure drawing websites that you can go and kind of, they'll put an image up for X amount of time of whether it's male, female, you get to pick the preferences. So there's ways to mediate it. However, I get a lot of emails from students just saying like, I have no desire to try and even do this now outside of a studio. So
Mm.
that's been the toughest thing, is trying to really figure out how to keep them motivated, and in return, a lot of them lost their jobs, or some of the situations are where they may live with a parent that is older, and so they had to quit their job and are trying to figure things out, but they may not even have access to the internet. It's not like you can go sit at Starbucks. So there's a lot of things that just are still up in the air. I feel like that we're just trying to kind of keep things going as best as we can. um, so th- I know that's sort of a long answer to what the online portion's like, but that's some of the challenges and some of the things that still working with.
Mm. So about Helena College, I assuming the campus is closed until the end of the semester, reopening in the fall, perhaps. How how has the program grown over the years? The Helena College art program.
Yeah. So, um, uh, I mean, I guess to tell the story, it's kind of interesting. When I worked at the Holter, um, doing marketing, Helena College called and needed just somebody to teach a drawing course once a year. And so I, did that for some money on the side, and then they sort of approached and said, well, we'd like to kind of offer a few more. Are you interested? Said sure. So I got 2 classes, which is all an adjunct can do, and we did that really for about 2 years before then they reapproached me again and said, well, can we develop more classes? There's something else that we can do. We can rotate things. And so for the past 4 years, I've been creating all the courses that are now offered. So that way students can get the first 2 year, like fundamental foundation arts courses, that you take anywhere. So, we've really focused on those transferable credits that are foundation based, that really let the students try this stuff out to see if they want to continue in art, or maybe they took it as a humanities credit and all of a sudden found out that they really love this. And that's how this began. And now, being the very first year that we have a full-time program, we're able to run all the classes that we usually were like rotating out every other year or so, which has been really good. So really within a short window, within 4 years, all of this has come about, and primarily because of student support. At the admin that I work with have just loved. I mean, we've just had a great time sort of like building it, and they've supported me so much and advocated for that full-time position. So.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah.
And so right now at the Holter, we have the Helena College Showcase Shift
Right.
gallery right now. So can you tell us a little bit about that? I know it's a juried exhibition. You got a lot of submissions and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, we were really trying to give something that we could kind of see as a sort of a capstone. There are art majors who are transferring on, and we wanted to be able to give them something that they would get some experience with, learning how to just even operate submitting to a show. So there was that, and then another professor there, Kim Fai, she approached and just said, is there some way that we can make this thing sort of a bigger campus wide? And so we started talking and got this idea together, and really worked hard over it over the summer, so that way we could launch it, start advocating for it. And we came up with the term shift, just because we felt like Helena College is always about shifting. We're a 2-year institution that constant revolving door of students. We have to bend really quickly to the times, being sort of that 2-year even trades program. There was also, it's an election year. Now the term luckily, I shouldn't say luckily, it's not the best, but it has really sort of continued to take on new meaning. And the students, I was really shocked. They want to do a lot. They want the exposure, they want the experience, and so that this show was really a nice way of highlighting what students are doing that aren't even taking art. Some are just at the trade campus, and so we're trying to use that to bridge this dialogue between the 2 campuses that we have amongst Helena College. We're also, we had an open invite to faculty, to clubs, to anybody. So that way we'd have this space where we can really expose each other to what it is that we're doing, and have this sort of shared dialogue of basically the work from the semester, and in really the full year. So it was really nice. And then of course having it the Holter is such an amazing space for us, as we don't currently have a space to really showcase that. And it's been a really a real treat for the students. I get a lot of emails.
And we did get to have the opening reception, luckily, before everything shut down. So
yeah,
that was really
window
fantastic.
of opportunity on that, right? Just that little brief moment. And,
yeah. And we do have the virtual video tour of the exhibit that'll be up on our website and on Facebook and things like that. So, people can see it, although the opening night was the day that the Holter had to close.
Yeah. I almost felt like, sending, an apology and a dozen roses the day after, be like, thank you, Holter. So sorry, but thank you so much.
No, we're really excited to host the show, and we're hoping that it'll continue in the future. We can only see the Helena College Showcase growing, right? Is that your vision for it as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, we are, we're still exploring new courses and mediums. We're looking forward to trying to get sort of a a digital media course going, which would encompass like digital photography, animation, graphic design. Try to get some of these sampling courses out there that just continue to allow students, allow people from the community to take these courses and dabble, to experience, to try out. And I mean, I've just found a great freedom, and it within that institution, that they are open to the arts so much that they kind of let me produce what I feel is needed. So it's been really good.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today, Seth. It's been really great to hear about your own personal practice and Helena College and the Shift Helena College showcase that we have up at the museum. And we're going to keep continuing these quarantine and create videos, coming into artist studios, getting a feel for what they're doing. So thanks so much, Seth.
Thank you so much, Rosemary.
Have a good one.